Planned protest or march of 100, what was expected to be.
For many, many people around the world, climate change is going to change their lives in the worst way thinking.
Is that sunlight enters the lower atmosphere of the Earth and under normal circumstances large amount penetrates through to the Earth's surface itself, whereas a significant amount also is reflected off the lower atmosphere back into space. But the greenhouse warming or greenhouse effect itself is due to build-up of particular gases in that lower atmosphere. And what happens is that some of the sun's rays that actually reach the Earth's surface then are reflected back as infrared light, and it's the infrared light that reacts with these molecules in the lower atmosphere, and they don't pass through readily back into space, but they actually heat up the lower atmosphere. Well, the three main gases are carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide or other nitrogenous types of compounds. So the main source of these gases is carbon dioxide, which occurs from the burning of fossil fuels. So obviously prior to modern times these forms of carbon were trapped in the earth, but now they're burnt, and a large portion of that carbon is then emitted as CO2 and goes into the atmosphere. The other main sources are methane and nitrous oxide. And methane and nitrous oxide, they occur naturally also from things like swamps and in rainforests even, but there's been a major increase in the contribution of these gases due to the farming of animals in particular. So animals, in particular ruminant animals, emit methane as a process, as a byproduct of the fermentation gases that occur in their stomach or their rumen. A country like Australia is very vulnerable in terms of climate change in relation to weather patterns in particular. So the predictions are that as the climate continues to warm and the earth turns to warm, that southern parts of Australia will actually become drier, so less rainfall, and those parts of Australia are very prone to bushfires in the summer months when their rainfall is primarily in the winter. So in the summer months they'll have larger amounts of dry standing combustible material and less rain, and so one of the immediate impacts will be more fires and more hostile fires, which will impact on small communities and maybe even larger cities, but also large tracts of agricultural land. Thirdly, there is also the potential for sea level rises, which could affect coastal communities, direct sort of flooding, just from encroachment of water at high tide, but these properties are also at risk from storm surges, so bigger storms, slightly higher sea level, and significant areas of land around the coastal fringe of Australia where there's been buildings at lower levels. They could be impacted by flooding through serious storm events or just through slow encroachment of water at high tide. Well, no, certainly. I think everybody can have an impact. Individually, it's not much, but collectively, if you add all those small impacts together, then it can be significant. So I think you're seeing a change already. The amounts of solar panel use has increased exponentially. We live in a country where there's lots of solar power. Lots of sunlight, so solar power is a real option. You can see the uptake of that on people's homes, but also industry are adopting that. Large industries are building large solar panel farms to generate electricity for their own industrial purposes. People are buying new cars that consume less fuel. They're going to electric vehicles. People are also choosing to take up the new battery technologies where energy can be stored